So application is now running. Let me choose a file. So you can see this is the processed file. Extracted text with total characters of 5271 generated. These are the 8 text chunks generated, each with 800 characters. There are some overlapping things, and the last one is 355 characters. So embedding result is embeddings generated successfully. Total number of embeddings 8 equal to the number of chunks generated, and each has a vector dimension of 384. Now generated embeddings are ready for the next step, storing them in vector database or Azure AI sites. Now there's one still small thing that is remaining, that is to show you the error when the FastAPI is not running. And if I choose a file, the same file or whatever file it is, same file I have chosen, click on process document. Just wait, extracted text is still the same. Number of text chunks generated is also 8, still the same answer. But embedding result could not reach the FastAPI embedding service. Please make sure the Python service is running on this localhost port 8000. So that proves that the FastAPI needs to run in order for the client ASP.NET MVC application to communicate to the FastAPI and get the result of the vector embeddings. So these are all the learning objectives of today's lecture. In part 4, we proved that Python can generate embeddings independently. In part 5, ASP.NET, or this part, ASP.NET 10 starts talking to that Python service over HTTP. ASP.NET doesn't generate embeddings itself. It sends the text chunks as JSON. FastAPI returns vectors as JSON, and ASP.NET displays whether the conversion was successful. Now, FastAPI's request response model is a natural fit here because the client sends the JSON request body and receives a JSON response body. So I have appsettings.json open before me so that I can change or update it. So I will just highlight everything and write it over with the code on my clipboard and save it. So what is the purpose of changing? So you can see this extra block I have kept embedding service with the base URL of with a local host of 8000, local host running at port 8000, and timeout second is 60. Now this keeps the Python service URL outside the C# code. Later, when you deploy the embedding service somewhere else, if it is not the local host, then you just need to change the configuration, okay, and not the code in C#. Now we create an embedding folder within the services folder. So within services, I'll embedding, and we'll create a new file, embedding DTOs, and copy over the code on my clipboard. So what does this code do? These DTOs match the FastAPI JSON content. Now ASP.NET sends text and FastAPI returns embeddings. So now I add an interface with the name IEmbeddingClient within the embedding folder, within the service folder. Just copy over. All right, save it. So the controller should not know how HTTP calls are made. It only asks an embedding client to generate embeddings. So it is providing a thin client, okay, as we are going to move the HTTP logic into a dedicated client. Next, we'll implement the FastAPI embedding client. So within the embedding folder only, I'll add a class. All right. And within this class, I will paste this code. I'll just explain in a bit. So this is the embedding client that implements the IEmbeddingClient that we have just built. That is the interface contract, and returns the task of embedding client result type. Okay. So the purpose of this class is that this class owns the HTTP call to FastAPI. It sends the chunks, read the embeddings, and returns a clean result object to the MVC controller. Now, next part is to register the program, register the HTTP client in the program file. So we add the using statement multimodal rackdemo.services.embedding and add another part on this below the last part. After the I document text extractor and I text chunking service, we'll add this block of code, which is having this IEmbeddingClient interface that we are just talking about. So this registration, that we have just done in this block of code, it uses HttpClientFactory to provide a configured HTTP client to FastAPI embedding client. Okay. As a result, the controller only depends on IEmbeddingClient and doesn't manually create or configure HTTP client. Next, I update the rack controller. Now, first I update the constructor to inject IEmbeddingClient. So accordingly, I'll have to make this using statement also. Okay, .services.embedding, and then add private read only IEmbeddingClient. So this is the last one that I needed to add, and then this part also I accept. Automatically this code is written for me. Okay, embedding client, then I inject the dependency for the embedding client. So this embedding client equal to the supplied one through the constructor, that is this one, embedding client, right? Now finally I add this chunk of code, this block of code. So if model.chunks.any, now here don't worry about these squiggly lines, they will go after in the next step I update the view model, rag upload view model. But before that, there's another thing that is being asked by the this GitHub AI. So it's a better way to do is prefer comparing count to 0 rather than using any. So I'll get this potential fix. So if model.chunks.count not equal to 0, I will use this one. Okay, preview changes and apply. This is a better practice. Now the controller still orchestrates the pipeline, but it does not contain raw HTTP logic. The flow is now upload goes to extract, goes to chunk, and then call embedding service and display results. Next, we'll update the rag upload view model. So we already have till this list of text chunks. So from there, I'll put this part which is on my clipboard again. So public bool embedding succeeded gets it. These are public property, public string embedding status message and embedding count and vector dimension. So these are the things that I need to be displayed, on the updated razor view, which will soon come. Now the view model carries the embedding result back to the razor view. We are not displaying the full vectors because that would be too noisy for us. Next, we'll update the razor view. Okay, so rag index.html, and here I will add a block after the chunks section, which is here. This is the model.chunks.any again. Here, let it be untouched here. We have changed it model.chunks.count, but let it be what it is without disturbing the thing here. And I will put this block after. So this is the blocks at if model.embedding succeeded. No, before that, if not string dot is null or white space model.embedding status message. Now we are actually deciphering the status messages. Okay, so H3 header embedding result it will write, and if the embedding is succeeded, if the boolean returns true, then you'll get an alert success. Otherwise, if it is not true, alert warning message, and this will be taken out from embedding status message and written over here in bold. So if the embedding succeeds, now the boolean returns true, then we get these things. Total embeddings, vector dimension, and with a paragraph like this. So we are now almost ready. Now let me tell you, the purpose of so doing is it will prove the chunks were sent to Python and vectors came back successfully. Now we are all ready to run the application. So you have seen, or I have not shown, rather, actually UVCon I have started even before I started the changing of this architecture. So, UVCon was started so that the FastAPI is running. All right. So now what I will do is that, I will run the ASP.NET app. Now you can verify that this is UVCon has started over here. So started UVCon running on HTTP. This is localhost port 8000. Press Ctrl C to quit. So what you can do is that, we will now run this application with IIS Express. So application is now running. Let me choose a file. So you can see this is the processed file, extracted text with total characters of 5271 generated. These are the 8 text chunks generated, each with 800 characters. There are some overlapping things, and the last one is 355 characters. So embedding result is embeddings generated successfully. Total number of embeddings 8 equal to the number of chunks generated, and each has a vector dimension of 384. Now generated embeddings are ready for the next step, storing them in vector database or Azure AI sites. Now there's one still small thing that is remaining, that is to show you the error when the FastAPI is not running. Now I have stopped the process. You can see finished server process, stopping reloader process, application shutdown complete. Okay, so let's get back to the browser again. And if I choose a file, the same file or whatever file it is, same file I have chosen, click on process document. Just wait, extracted text is still the same. Number of text chunks generated is also 8, still the same answer. But embedding result could not reach the FastAPI embedding service. Please make sure the Python service is running on this localhost port 8000. So that proves that the FastAPI needs to run in order for the client ASP.NET MVC application to communicate to the FastAPI and get the result of the vector embeddings. So thank you for watching.